Hi, this is Mr. McKee with NOS 230. Okay, today I'm going to be setting up Internet Information Services on a Server 2008 server, and I just want to go through this and make sure everything's set up correctly before you get started. Alright, so I have my domain controller, which that's my IP address for my Server 2012, which is my domain controller. I can open up Server Manager, and I can just look in tools and see that I have Active Directory domain services running, that domain DNS server, and file and storage services. Okay, so that's good to go. Okay, so I'm also logged on my Active Directory on a Windows 7 machine, which our group policies were to change the background. Let me just check. Alright. It shouldn't let me go to the control panel. There's control panel, should block me. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm blocked on that. And it should have a map drive. Okay, so there's my map drive, school documents. Okay. Everything's good to go on that. Alright. One thing, we don't want to put a web server on our domain controller. It causes some issues that we don't even want to get into. Okay, so Server 2008, that's logged on as administrator onto the Active Directory. There's my IP address. Yours should be 192.168. Your computer number, add a 0 to the end of it, and .4. Okay. So we're going to go to Server Manager. No roles are running right now on this server, which that's fine. Right click roles in the left column. Alright. What we want is web server IIS in parentheses. Check that, and actually it tells you in the description, web server provides reliable, manageable, and scalable web application infrastructure. That's great. Alright. Click next. Alright, this is what it's going to install. All these check boxes are checked. Alright. I'm just showing you guys this. I'll just use the defaults. Alright. It might need to restart, that's fine. Alright, click install. Web server. And what we're going to do, since we're not connected actually to the internet, since we don't have a router connected to our local area network, we are going to set up an intranet. Okay, just like if you had a company and you wanted to set up where people can open a web browser and get to internal documents and internal web pages inside the company, but not external web pages out on the internet, that's when you have an intranet. Alright, so cool. Alright, let's see. Installation succeeded. Windows Update automatic updating is not enabled. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now under roles we have web server, IIS. Alright, Internet Information Services Manager, and it tells us, okay, there's our server name, local host, all that good stuff. Alright, this is really what we want, and these windows are going to get out of hand in a little while. Let's see. Alright, so that, let's click on default document. Alright, and this is going to show you all the default documents that you can use. And if you see in here, alright, use this feature to specify the default files to return when a client does not request a specific file. Set the default documents in order of priority. Okay, so either we can take all these out that we don't want, or we can just use the top one. That's the one that has priority. Okay, so before we can access this file, we need to make sure that it's going to be a unique file for us, so I can tell that you guys have actually set this up correctly. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go to File Manager. Alright, and this is where you guys are going to find these files for the web server. Alright, go into Computer, C drive. Alright, INET Internet Public. Alright, there's your www root, just www like you were getting on an internet website. Click that. Alright, so, and you guys are not going to see this. Let me take this out. you guys are going to see IISS start. Okay, what you're going to do is, since we don't have a HTML editing program, all we're going to do is right click the IIS start, open with Notepad, and if you guys have had the CIS 115 course, you guys do HTML and style sheets. You can see it's a style sheet. Not much in here. All I want you to do is go down. This is going to show you a document with this link inserted in there, which is a picture. Okay, right underneath division ID equals container, just hit enter, make a new line. Only tag I want you guys to use is a B tag for bold. Alright, B, and type in this is Nathan McKee. Of course, insert your own name. Actually, since I'm going with Mr. McKee, let me do that. Mr. McKee's. Let's do home page. Okay, in the tag, \B. Okay, that'll give us a bolded sentence. This is Mr. McKee's webpage. Okay, and then right below that, I'll have a picture. And what that's going to look like, it should look like an ISS picture. Alright, so let's do File, Save As. And I know this is the first one on the list in priority. Alright, so here's the thing though. Save as type, text document, you can leave that as it is, but we're going to save it as an HTML document. Alright, so parentheses, default.html, put parentheses on both sides of the file name. That forces it to save it as an HTML file. Alright, so we're going to hit save. Alright, and we want to look. And if we were to just save this as a text file, it would actually show a little text icon. But since we saved it as a web page, it tells us web file type HTML document. So when we access our web page home page, we're going to see the default come up. Alright, so that's good to go. And really, you could take all these out if you wanted to. Alright, so hopefully, let me log in. And I'm already logged in. I'm going to log, let's see. First thing we want to do, say we don't have a DNS server set up. If we just type in the IP address. Alright, so it's not doing that. 192.168. It'd be better if I type in the correct. Okay, so first thing I did, now just so you guys know, I'm on my Win 7, the X1, my first Windows 7 machine. Alright, brought up a web browser. It's not going to take me to any websites outside of my network, my local area network, because I don't have a router set up. Alright, but I can go to web pages that are connected on one of these computers from the other computers. Alright, so I like to open up Chrome, bring up the web browser. It's probably going to tell me it can't connect. 250.4. I don't know why I keep hitting 1. Let's hit 4. Alright, so we know that works. And if we didn't have a DNS server, that would work anyways. So the other server and web server, NTM SRV 2008. So if I type in NTM SRV 2008, don't even have to put in the default file name that we named that new file. If I type in NTM SRV 2008, it's going to come up automatically with the default .html file because we specified it right here. Alright, default document right there, default.html. Okay, and this is actually, IIS is mapping that file as being our homepage file, even though it's actually saved in another directory, which is C drive, inetpub, www.root, right there. Alright, so that file is showing up in our home in our browser as the home page. Okay, And if we didn't have that, it would actually come up with the IIS start, which you see that if you don't have any of these other files in here, you're going to have the IIS start by default, and that'll come up and it'll look just like my web page, except for my name won't be in there right there. Alright, so I want you guys to make sure you have your names in there so I can see it. Do a screenshot of this right here. Here, let me do it for you. Make sure you're doing the screenshot on your physical machine since you have Microsoft Office. Alright, so I'm going to do Word, 2016, good to go, blank document. Alright, I'm going to save this to my OneDrive, and you guys save it where you guys are storing all your other stuff. Let's see, this is an MS-230. Alright, and since this is not an activity in the book, just name this IIS setup, and it is 2.23.17. Alright, so name the file IIS setup 2-23-17. Okay, let that save real quick. And I'm just taking it off the screen so you guys don't see my folder structure. Alright, so that's what I got right there. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I want to make sure you guys are using the correct naming conventions for all your VMs. So those should be open. Alright, if you have less RAM than me, you might start having issues since I've got a Server 2012 running, Server 2008, and a Windows 7. If you're doing anything else on your computer, maybe you might see some slow down latency issues. Alright, but I've got that set up. I'm gonna Control Alt print screen. I'm gonna paste this in here. Alright, there's one of my screens. And actually, I don't like that. Let me redo this. I'm just going to do a control, do print screen. Alright. Let me crop this other picture out. Alright, make it a little bit bigger. And just so you guys know, IIS7, that's the version of Internet Information Services. Alright, so there's the first screenshot I want. You guys can label it successful IIS set up on NTM SRV 2008. And I'll make that red so you guys know, change that to your server name. Alright, so we got that. And that's in our Windows 7 machine. Okay, and it's showing that we're on that web page. I want that one. Close that down, go to 2008. I want to see just this, and I want to just make sure you guys can get to the default documents. And some other things you guys can look at logging. I wouldn't go in here and really change anything. Configuration editor, things like that. You can restart your web server. You can stop it. Things like that. You can look around in here, but I wouldn't make any real changes. Default web page. You can browse your web page. It's an unsecure website. HTTP port 80. That's fine. Let's just look what else it has. Okay. Alright, so that's about it. We haven't used our Server 2008 much, so we got a web server set up on it. And that should be it. Let's do a screenshot. I'll name the next one IIS config. Alright, didn't want to do that, but that's fine. Crop this out. I do this so much, I'll do it pretty fast. Alright, so that's that. Make it big enough where I can see it. Alright, so looking at that, I can see that my server set up, default web page. I can see my other tabs for my other VMs. Alright, so really that's it. Alright, so I'm going to stop this video. You guys just go ahead and set up this IIS web server and just make sure it works. I don't foresee any issues. I'm logged in on the Active Directory on server 2008, on 12, on 7. Okay, so really you don't have to open up any of your other virtual machines for this lab. Okay, but it works, and that's it. Thanks for watching.